Well, the politicians of both the big old parties tell us we have a fiscal crisis. And sure enough, we face a fiscal deficit of $9 billion. But you know what? They collected $16 billion last year and they gave it back to Wall Street. That was from the stock transfer tax. That's a tax that's been in existence in New York since 1909 and was kept, the revenues were kept until 1981. Since then, they've been given back. If we'd have kept that $16 billion, we'd have a $7 billion surplus. If we had the same kind of progressive tax structure we had in the 1970s, we could cut the personal income taxes of 95% of New Yorkers and still come out with $8 billion more in tax revenues because the rich would be paying their fair share. And if we had a banker's bonus tax of 50% on cash bonuses over $50,000 for the Wall Street bankers we bailed out last year, we'd have another $10 billion. You add those three progressive tax reforms together, we'd have over $30 billion. This fiscal crisis is contrived by the politicians who are paid for by Wall Street interests, who've decided it's time for working people to pay off the money the state has borrowed by taking tax cuts, paying the same tax rates as the wealthy people and taking cuts in public services, and particularly state workers taking cuts in their pay and benefits. The average state worker makes $40,000. Their average retirement pension is $16,000. Those are good middle class incomes and pensions, but they're not outrageous. That's what all working people should be able to make. And so, you know, what we need to do is have the rich pay their fair share of taxes, and there won't be a fiscal crisis. We will be able to fully fund our public schools, keep the parks open, provide the 8% in state revenues that are supposed to be shared with local government, and with that money, local government could relieve high property and sales taxes, which are regressive, and we could begin to invest in the sustainable green economy that we need to have a viable future here in New York. And it all starts with the most important document that the governor works on, the budget. And instead of this austerity for working people, we got to make the rich pay their fair share. There's enough money in the state. We are in the state with the most unequal distribution of income in the all United States. The United States is a country with the most unequal distribution of income in all of the industrial world. There's a lot of money on Wall Street and the financial and real estate interests. If they paid their fair share, we would not have a fiscal crisis. And that's what distinguishes my campaign from all of the others. Andrew Cuomo says he will not raise taxes on the rich. He wants to cap the taxes and spending of the state. And that puts him in the same camp with all the Republicans. So, you know, with Democrats like Andrew Cuomo, who needs the Republicans? The Greens are the real alternative in this election.